Assalamu alaikum, and I welcome you all. Allama Iqbal Open University online workshop for the course number 5651. If you all can hear me, then mention on the chat box. So I will proceed further and formal begin today's session. So I just wanted to listen from you all, guys. If you all can hear me, so mention on the chat box. So we will formally begin today's session. And today is the 27th of April, 14th of Ramzan, and I'm just going to upload my presentation. So we will formally begin today's session. So the protocol of today's session is that the session is consist at 90 minutes approximately, and we will cover through with protocol of English language. So for all these notes, I am just going to upload the presentation. I hope you all can view my webcam, and within a minute or so far, you will see my shares, my slides as well. If you face any difficulties, so you may ask, you may write on the chat box. So we will try to resolve from the our end to resolve your issues. I hope you all guys can view my screen as my slides as well. So we will do that. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and wa alaikum assalam to all guys who say salam to me on chat box. So in the name of Allah, who is the most beneficent and merciful, we will begin today's session. I welcome you all from the Karachi, hot weather in Karachi, and your rest of the parts, and from your beloved cities where you belonging. I welcome you all. I am your resource person, Muhammad Yusuf Ali, and today we will learn the course Public Record, and today is the lecture number 3rd, and our course code is 5651. Today is the 27th of April, 14th of Ramzan, and for all these notes, I am your resource person. I'm PhD scholar doing PhD from Islamia University, Bahawalpur, and working at Aga Khan University, Karachi. For all these notes, I am moving to the next slide. So this is your course outline. This is our workshop schedule. First day we will discuss the two topics. First day we discuss two topics: public record and real material, 24th of April. And yesterday we will discuss. We discussed two topics like archive and information world, and today we will talk about the further two topics. One is known as record management, and another is find ads, as well as you may say that the right word for this topic is the finding ads. So, and rest of the 3 days we will discuss the archival legislation in tomorrow, and day after tomorrow I will discuss the Pakistani archives development, and the 8th and 9th we will talk about the organization of national archives, 30th of April, as well as we will discuss about the provincial archive. For all these notes, if you feel, if you join just for a while ago, I will inform you, I will talk about the two topics, number 1, record management, and number 2, the finding ads, find ads. So if you all can hear me, just mention the chat box. So I will proceed the today's presentation, share the scheme of presentation. I need acknowledgement from you all guys, so we will move forward. If you mention chat box, you can hear me, you can listen my voice, and you can view my slides as well. Thank you, Ghulam Muhyiddin. Thank you, Muhammad Iftikhar. Thank you, Hafiz Jafar Hussain Saab, for supporting me, for acknowledging me. I hope. Thank you, Sir Faraz Saab. Thank you, Farhana Ghazal, Muhammad Azam Saab, both for your all acknowledgements. Ansar Rashid, and Nazia Rani. We have there about 39 participants. So if you are joined for a while ago, I just want to mention you. We will talk about the two topics today. Number one is the record management. In a scheme of presentation, you may see that. Sorry, big pardon for if your name is wrongly pronounced, Al Nasser Rashid. So I'm so weak. I'm not so good to in the pronunciation of Pakistani name. So we will talk about. Please forgive me, and I apologize if I pronounce your name wrongly, Ansar Rashid. So we will talk about the record management, number one topic, and then we will talk about the process of record management. What is the procedure and process of record management, and then the format of record management. What is the formation of record management? And then we will talk about the manual record management. And in a manual record management, we will talk about the filing systems. And we know about the life of the filing. So we will talk about the life of the filing and then digital record management. So we will talk about the digital record management as well. And in a second part of today's presentation, we'll talk about the finds, ads. The right pronunciation for this term, I will just say that finding ads is the better term, but I will pick from your courses. So course outline or the, so it is being mentioned on your course outline, find ads, so I did not change it. And then we will talk about how we manage the public summary. And then summary guide, and then we will talk about the manual entry, holding papers, and we will talk about the online record management. And I have just explored today's morning after the series. There's one of the wonderful resource regarding the online archival section. There's the online museum, Canadian Online Museum, Bruce County Museum and Culture Center. We will explore this website to get the personal exposure, how archives and holdings are being managed in an international library. So the main purpose is that so you may understand the things, how the things are being practically done. One more individual is saying that there is an audio problem. I'm not audible to him. He's Abid Ali Shah. Can you change the place, Abid Ali Shah? It would be better for you. Okay, Basit Mir Saab, I think so. You are taking the first time my workshop. I read your name first time. I welcome you all. I hope you will enjoy today's session as well. So stay tuned till the end of the time and spend 90 minutes and be energetic like me. So for all these notes, it's my request, please don't sleep, don't take a headphone away from your ear, listen all the lectures all the time, and take active participants on the chat box. So I will appreciate, because for this opportunity, you may learn new things, you may listen the topic which is mentioned on your book, which will give you the exam within a couple of months, month or 1 or 2 months, you will give the exam. So if you will take this session, this will recall you how to manage the course outline, how to manage your assignments if you did not submit if you did not upload your assignments as well. So for all these notes, should I move to so everyone who is join us, I just mentioned you, we will discuss two topics, record management and finding ads. So I move to the next slide. I have just begun. You know that I always begin with the accreditation, good words, a good thought of the day. And today's thought of the day: when you absolutely positive, have to know. If you want to willing to know, then ask librarian. If you are positive, if you have positive approach to know about the anything, and if no mina, so please contact to the librarian. And being as a librarian, how good you are, how knowledge skills you have, so you can facilitate your reader, a positive reader. So you should be a positive learner and positive listener to facilitate your user, because within a couple of months you will become the library. You are just far away or far behind a exam. After the exam, you all will become the librarian. So you should know about that, how to facilitate your user. For all these thoughts, I move to the slide. Next slide. So any idea, anyone who wants to share what is record management beside written on the slides? So anyone who has a written idea, who wants to say something on the chat box, so I want to hear from you all, guys. No one wants to share with me. Any genius student of in my classroom? Any genius student who wants to share? Any genius student who wants to put something about the record management and what is his experience about the record management so far? Anyone who wants to contribute? We have record management. I just want to need from your thought. Hafiz Jafar Hussain is saying the record management, the supervision and administration. This is all different sort of record management format. The creation, receipt and maintenance, the disposal record in the context of record, container, document, and a business transaction. So the all sort which is being, you are saying that Basit Hafiz Jafar Hussain Saab is saying that record management is the supervision and administration. You are right. And digital paper or digital record, regardless the format. This is the basically done the work that the record management. If you see that I have just explored in a very simple word the way or the process. Archivist store and retrieve the archival record is referred as record management. So the way and the process archivist store and retrieve. We have storing the material and then we need to retrieve, someone required that material. So all this process is called the record management. So something is being written, something you got the historical document, historical object, you will manage it in your archival section or your record room. And after that, when the people will come here and then you will say that you will retrieve their record and how the finding aids will be help them. So this is known as the record management. Bushra of record management is just like an accession register. Yes, I little bit differ with you. I will talk about the register like this is when we talk about the similar topic, finding ads. So it is being similar with that. If someone asks about the finding ads, so I will include your definition. Thank you for your feedback. And rest of them, anyone who wants to add, thank you. Mir is saying? Yes, of course. Anyone who wants to listen the workshop, they will be attendant. There is an automatic system. After you have to stay specific timeline, so your attendance will be counted. And after that successful complementation of 6 days workshop, you will view the breakup at how much you will take part in your workshop. So for all these notes, I move to the next slide. Process of the record management. What is the process of the record management? We have to understand that what is the process. Record management activities include the creations and receipt, the maintenance, use, and disposal of record. In the context, a record is a content, a document in a business transaction. So record management is the activity for the process. You have to create the records and receipt, and you have received the records and maintain the record as well, and use and disposal of the record. After the successful complementation, you will dispose of the record. If the record is obsolete, if the record is useless, so you may dispose that record. And a record is content of business transaction, and this is a whole transaction is called a business transaction. Documentation may be exist, and what documentation will be added in a record management? Memos, paper files, electronic files, reports, email, videos, instant messages, and log or database record. Paper record may also store in the physical boxes or premises or storage in the facilities, and digital record may be stored on the media houses or in the cloud. So this is being the process, and this is the saying that what is the process of record. Kaisar Abbas is saying that library में all things का record maintain करना management कहलाता है. Library record management is being a different thing. If you talk about the library record management, if you talk about the management thing like we are maintaining the acquisition register for the library record for the library holding. Here we talk about the old historical record. So on whole old historical record, we have the different types of records. So we will talk about that record. We are currently not talk about the library holdings. We are talking about the archival records. Or Now you all can hear me? If you just acknowledge me. Thank you. That sort of problem we can face during the online learning, because the internet data may be dispersed due to various time and speed and connectivity. So we will talk about the process of the record management, and the documentation may exist in a contracts you make is a part of the document. Memos, paper files, electronic files, report, emails, video, instant messages, logs, and as well as the database is also part of your record management. Suppose that we will talk about how the databases are the part of record management in our coming slides. And paper record may be stored in the physical boxes. All the records which you have find in a shape of printing material, it will be kept on a physical boxes. And digital record is being stored in a media houses or clouds. Beside Bushra Rabbani, anyone else facing the voice problem? So please mention on the chat box. Moinuddin is saying that he can listen me clearly. Anyone else? So I will get the endorsement from your side. So we will move for the next slide. Ghani Rahman Saab is saying that connection problem from your side or my side. Navishta Rahman saying clear. Kasar Abbas is saying clear. So I move for the rest of the guys feeling okay. Please check your connectivity. So the format of the digital record management. What will be the format of the record management? There are two formats for you all guys. We have manual record management, or we have the digital record management. So in a manual record management, paper may be stored in a physical boxes on the premises or a storage facility. It is called the manual. In a digital record may be sorted by the storage in a media house or in a cloud computing or backup to take on your server, on computer server. So these are being, you can say that the picture that how the manual record is being managed, and here is you can see that the picture that how the digital record is being managed. So I personally believe that in the current age, in a scenario of the information and the data, most of the records are being the digital born. So the happening is that we may join that. So happening is that we may prefer that how to manage and learn how to preserve the digital record. In the last slide of this today's section, we will discuss what is the challenges and how we manage the digital record. So in a first phase, we will talk about the manual record management. So all you feel okay? So I move for the next slide. And today's has another quiz for you. If you all guys listen my quiz quickly. Yesterday we gave a quiz and only one participant who is answer me regarding the books of Gandhi. So today quiz is that we all are belong from the different cities of Pakistan and different places and different part of the Pakistan. So today's quiz is that the name of the alphabets which begin from your city. Like for in my case, I belong from the Karachi. So I have to mention a book from my city name. Like if any book which is a start begin from the word K, so I mention on the chat box. So I want to take the name of the first 5 participants. So I will, but it is being from the English alphabetical order, not in Urdu alphabetical order. So I will big applause in advance from my side, those who will be participant. Courtly AGK, so you have to mention your book from the K like me. So yes, of course, from K you can mention any book title. So I will appreciate you. Asma, you can also mention from the A. Just mention from the, I do not need the, whatever you mention the book name, so I will just confirm your city name. Please mention the book name. Okay, for all these notes, I'm just moving for the next slide. Thank you, Mohyuddin Saab. You are from Pakpatan. I just move for the next slide. So you have to Azam Saab, you have to mention any book from which is related to L. So any book who has started from the book L, you have to mention any book from the M, Multan, from the Faisalabad. Anyone who is from the Jhelum Valley, that's great. Jhang, Bakkar, from all the places, you have to mention the name which is begin your city name. So, I move for the next slide. So, manual record management process. What is the manual? Mathematics, method, and the physics. I have listened from the one response from Mohammad Ramzan Sajid. Thank you. What is your city, Ramzan Saab? Can you mention for all guys for guide us? Ramzan Saab is the winner who mentioned the book Mathematical Methods of Physics. So, Ramzan Saab, can you mention the name of your city? You are the winner. You are the genius of today's classroom. And you are the... Okay, that's great from Mia Wali. Thank you. I will appreciate your passion and thank you. Become a smart librarian. And nowadays, because the librarian should have information on the fingertips, like given by the Mr. Ramzan Saab. So, Islamic record, Bushra Rafi has mentioned that. And what is the Islamic record? Is this book is exist? Please don't mention the assuming the. Suppose the books which is not exist. The book should be exist. I will check that book if you mention that Islamic. The musician. Hafiz Saab is saying that the musician. And what is your city? Hafiz Zafar Hussain. He is the third respondent. Bushra is your city, I think so, Islamabad. So you give the answer from my Multan, and that's good. That's great. Multan, and you have said the book musician. Yes, thank you for increasing my knowledge. So, come back to the point. I received three winners, Bushra Rafi and Hafiz Zafar, and as well as Ramzan Sajid. So I hope rest of the two participants, I know that the two lucky participants. Classification and filing system. We will talk about how we manage that classification and filing system. We have just proceeds the manual record. We will manage the internal practices that classify the record. If you find any document, Digital Divide, yes, that's good book for the Digital Divide. But can you mention the all titles there? Because there are so many books on the digital title regarding the Digital Divide. For Ana Ghazal, can you elaborate that? I received the 4 participants. Please don't mention the books which does not exist. The title does not exist, and you make just from your own title, and you are invented the own book. So I will suppose to you, you will give the answer of that book which is being physically exist. So in a manual system, what will be happen if you find any record from that? Thank you. You are the 4th one, and I think you are the winner of the yesterday. Thank you very much. Continue your passion. So we will talk about the international practices and classify the record as per the suitable subject heading. If you found any record, any file, any computer things, so what will be happen? International practice that classify the record. We have classified that book and assign a suitable subject heading. have just assigned, if you see at, and we have just a call number, and we will give the call number and as well as the code. There are something we have assigned for the code. We will see that the some picture of that. What will be happen whenever whatever we find the book. So J curve author name is the Ein Bermer. Thank you, and you are from, I think so. Can you name us the city? I received the fifth respondent, and thank you and congratulations to all guys who take participant. Ein Bermer book, she is mentioning that the J curve. It's I think so. It's a scientific book. It's a bit related to the mathematics. The Jungle Book, it's a very simple and it's a very good book, interesting book. I read when I was in kid, time for the Jungle Book written by the, where the story of the Tom Sawyer. It's a very interesting book. If you remembering your childhood, that Tom was the guy who is a very innocent boy, and you will read that story, the Tom Sawyer, the Jungle Book. Thank you, recalling my childhood. So we will talk about the headings and the call number code and maintaining the filing system. So this is called the first step. And then we will do, if you have arranged up multiple files, then we will do that the group and subgroups. Like the document we have received from the any specific government organization, then we will make it the government records, and we will further divide this subgroup like any specific division, branch, and the section. If we talk about the government record, if you have received the financial instrument, so there is a document related to the budget, it will be fall in the cabinet division, but it is any document which is related to the economic affairs and indicator, it will be fall in a economic affair division. Like some related affair related to the taxation, it will be moved, or information regarding the FBR, it will be moved in a government group and the finance division. So these are being the two groups. When we have the multiple files, we will divide it in a two groups. One is called the government group, and another is called the corporate body group. We can also make the private groups and international groups. So we have made the groups and the subgroups. I have just given an example of the subgroup like division, branches, and section. And the corporate record groups, we have also made the subdivision or branches. And like if you have the recording, if you are working in a State Bank of Pakistan and your library, so if you have managed the if you manage the things like that, parking the currency rate, which is being daily released by the State Bank of Pakistan official currency rate. So all the different parts of city and the subdivisions, zonal banks of the State Bank of Pakistan manage its records, because we know that what is the currency rate. So it is called that maintaining the subgroup, how the finance division State Bank is being adopted or collected the government records. Okay, and then we have the some kind of the corporate body records. Corporate body records we have also made a group, and then we have the private records, as well as we have the private records, and we have the as well as international records. So these are the steps for the record management. We are doing that kind of a thing, like classification system. First we manage all the records, and then we have made, if we have gathered multiple files, we have made it in a groups like government groups, and further divide in a specific division or ministry. And we have the corporate body groups, and we have the private records as well. We have received from the any records from the any private institution. We're also doing that, make in a different groups as well. If we in a Defense Central Library, we have made a record of newspaper clips. So we have managed the editorial notes for the all newspaper clips, Dawn news editorial. So we will do that. And then we will talk about that international records. Just I mentioned that we have doing some kind of international record, keeping like COVID-19 update, which is being the very hot issue nowadays. So we are managing that kind of records. What are the statistics in our neighboring country? What is the statistics at United States? And what is the status the rest of the world? So you can view and you can manage the records. So for all these notes, I move for the next slide. If you have any questions today's presentation, I just ask me. I will try to answer your question. If you feel okay, someone is saying that he or she did not feel the voice as well. So rest of them, you all guys feel the voice clearly, just inform me. So after taking your acknowledgement, I will move forward to the next slide. Thank you. I receive your acknowledgement. Thank you for your acknowledgement. So for I move for the next slide, and then we have the archival serial. Then we manage after the development of all these two processes, we will make an archival series, and then we made that this series is belong to the history. This series is belong to the international relation. This series is belong to the FPR record. This series is belong to the court order. This series is belong to the court decision. So all these things we have made the archival series. These are being the three process for the managing archival record. And number one, we have the classification system and filing system. And number two, groups and subgroups. We divided the records. We have the records. We have the collection of record. Then we divide it into different groups, like the government record group, which is being further divided into division, branches, and section. And we have different sort of record, like the corporate body records, private record, international record. And I have just shared that the practices about the Defense Library. We have managed the editorial, which is published in the Daily Dawn. We made the news clip and we made the record like that. And on that time, we have the hot issue of Kalabagh Dam. So we are managing that records related, news related to the Kalabagh Dam. So we have another practices in that today's in we feel at Aga Khan University as well as the Defense Library. We are doing that any news who is related to our institution, we make the record of that news. Like any news regarding the Defense Central Library, we have Librarian explore the newspaper and he or she made the clips and presented to the head of the organization. So because our head of the department will understand that how our library is performing active role in the society. If you are working in any of your library, so I will suggest you keep, manage or maintain your institution record, because sometimes people are being asking about that. Like if you are working the university, then people are asking about that. Do you have news clip of that day or something else? And we have made up some statistics that we have just managing the records of 1 year, like from the July 1st to 30th June. So that kind of practices you may also develop to managing the record management process. So you will learn about that, how to manage the records. Just you need the box files, and as well as you have to need the paper sheet to paste the records, and you will also gather so many records as well. But it's a manual practices, and today And nowadays we are doing the different practices. So I will just share for the rest of the presentation. I will talk about the manual record management processes. So I will just move that what is the digital record and digital process and digital record management. So I'm just moving. So sorry for that. We have that made the categories of the filing. I just mentioned earlier how we manage the filing life of the file or importance of the record or records. You manage your library or your institution for that. Record is being that there are 4 types of record. So you will see that the category A record, where you keep the permanent files record, which you cannot be deleted for the any reason. You cannot be destroy, you cannot be disposed for like the legislation, policy, procedure, and etc. So you have to keep this record, your permanent record, like your academic document. It is also called the permanent record because you cannot remove your academic document because it's till the end of the time you have to keep that record. And then category B. In category B, we have the long-term record files like the 10 years. These records are important for the specific period, like the census record. If you have to do the census, like in a country, in every country, we do the census for the after every 10 years. So this is known as a important record. But when the new census is being done, so after the new census, the old census, it will be the less important because people will be quoted the current census. Similarly, the category C, we have the record of the term of 3 to 9 years, which is known as a short-term record, like the important record, election record, or FBR. If you are being the return or the filer, then you find the records of the last 5 years from easily from FBR. So this is the third type of record. And number 4, which is known as a temporary record or the D category record, which is known as a record which is being less for the specific period. So these are the 3 to 6 year record, which is known as a temporary file. It will be 3 years to 6 months. Any record which is being available for the 3 years to 6 months, which is known as a temporary record. And a specific tenure, like tenure of the vice chancellor, like the tenure of the HSC heads, which is being reduced as like from the 3 to 5 years. So if you need the record of any specific tenure of the vice chancellor or any specific period of the head of the any institution which is appointed for the 3 years or so far, so you may keep that record usually. So this is being the categorization of the file. It is being important from the examination point of view. That kind of a question come, what is the record management in archive and the procedure of record management, and then the categorization of filing. So I move to the next slide. If you don't have any question, if you have any question, you may write on the chat box. I will take your question if it is related to the current slide. Otherwise, I will take your question after the in question and answer session. So rest of the before the 10th slide, I was discussed and we will discuss about the manual record management. Now I'm going to discuss about the record management in a digital format or in a record management in a computerized format. So what will be happen there? So you may see that record management through the computer and online format is known as a digital record management. So what are the example of the record management is known as a LAMS, LMS, okay, learning management system of the universities. You may see that you all are being involved in the learning management of Agahi portal of Allama Iqbal Open University. So this is what will be happening, that your all records, like your assignments, like your marks, like your workshop record, all is being digitalized, and university can be keep it, and whenever whatever they required, they will check and verify. So similarly, we have the record of NADA, which is the world's 6th largest databases regarding the collection of the bibliometric records, because in Pakistan we have approximately the huge, the largest database of the human being, which is known as the NADRA, National Authority and Database Registration Authority. So, and then we have the online banking. If you are familiar with that, online banking, if you are doing the online transaction, if you have doing the online bank account related to information, so it is also a part of the digital record management. Now in coming days, the people are doing business through the Daraz, Alibaba and Amazon. This is being all the part of the digital record management. The customer records is being saved within the passage of time, and it will be used whenever whatever required. So this is called the digital record management. You can also, if you are working in a library, anyone who is working in a library right now, any student in this classroom, we have the 55 participants who is working in any library. No one is working in a library. Any professional librarian or semi-professional librarian in my classroom. Oh, Asma Fakhir, she is from medical library. Oh, welcome you. Like mine, you are also working in a medical library. Welcome. So we have in a, if you have medical library, internship, Busharaf is doing the internship. Good. So if you have, so all the library, what will be happen that? Do you have your user record? So it is also called the record management. So if you have a record and user record, like whenever whatever user required the clearance and he or she come to the library, this is also called the record management. And the real example is that if you have all the records of your user or the management, which is known as a Azam is also working. Thank you, Azam Saab, for the working in a medical library. No, that's great. And see you, the all medical librarian. So you guys should be become a good medical librarian, facilitate and support to the user and the doctor and healthcare workers. Hafiz Jafar Hussain is also medical librarian. So sorry, oh, that's great. So these are being the, if you have any user records and you have to preserve your user record, which is known as the digital record management. So we will talk about the what is the digital record management. Like over the I don't know about that. You have the health e-health system in your existing university libraries, or you have in your hospital, respective hospital. So whatsoever, but in AKU we have the international standard healthcare system, and we have the patient record. We have you can manage the through that the MR number, medical record number. We can trace the medical history of each patient. Either he or she has taken the treatment 10 years ago or 20 years ago, but all the history of the record we will manage in the manually as well as on the e-health medical system. So I move for the next slide. What are the steps and the process of you all can view the slide number 12. Yes, thank you. We have all can how the essential component of the digital record management. So I think so, okay, we should teach about that type of the topic in our syllabus, but unfortunately it is not included in your book, which is your book. We should understand, because the record management, we should learn about the databases. Databases are the collection of record, so we have to read in depth side how the database is being managed and the digital record is being managed. And then we will talk about the data storage. First, we create the database, and then we store the databases. If you have any information regarding the records, so we will manage in a storage room. And then one of the data storage example is that the NCOC recently, they are gathering from the data of the today the government is also allow for the age of the 40 and above to vaccination record regarding the COVID-19. So it is also called the national record. So people are go to the NCOC website and register their cell phone number and whatsoever, and they will be registered for the vaccination. So it is being the process and the practices. So data is being stored in a NCOC site, and they are managing the records in a digital format. And then the data security is being also important. So if you store the data, if you create the data, and maybe people will be attacking your data, people will be thief your data, and most of the mobile companies are being thief your data, and most of the marketing company thief your email addresses. So they will sending you the promotional emails and the promotional SMS and WhatsApp in your mobile numbers, or as well as in your email addresses. So the data security, and similarly the privacy of data is being also important. The data, what should be private and what should not be private, I discussed in the first lecture. There is a big thing you have to understand, that the differences between the private and the public. So it is also a good part from you all guys to understand that what is the data privacy and how you secure your user data. If someone who is asking that the data, you should mention, you should inform that this is the policy of the data privacy. And most important thing for the record management is that digital record management is the backup of the data. How long you will take the backup of the data? In most of cases, people are taking their backup of the data on the daily basis from their server. In some cases, people are taking where the transaction rate is low, they will taking their backup data after every week. And some cases, people are taking the data backup of the data in monthly basis or yearly basis. And then cleanup of the data cleanup. That means after the taking of the backup, how long it will be stored on your server, how long it will take your digital data for your library. Suppose that you will be the passer from the Allama Iqbal Open University. So how long they will take your data on their records? After 10 years, 20 years, or 25 years, they should definitely omit your data, because you are being the useless for that time, because after taking of the 25 years, whatever your degree will be degree verified from the various part. So this is the time to backup of the data and cleaning of the data. So this is being the essential component and essential element, which is known as a digital data record management. Database, create the database, data storage, data security, data privacy, data backup, data cleanup. So these are being the data cycle. So you have to understand if you are using the data backup. And similarly, we have doing that kind of exercise over in our personal computers, like we have stored the data. And after that, we are keep the data safe, and within the passage of time, we will delete the file, and we are saying that we did not require that file. Uh, Bushra Rafi, she's saying that, sir, I'm doing internship from AIOU. Thank you. आप लामा इकबाल यूनिवर्सिटी से internship कर रही हैं. So guide them for all those people, those who are struggling for the internship, because I know that after the many people are being worried about that after the giving of exam, or they are in a process where should they are goes for the internship. So you are the good example, and you may guide your fellows and your colleagues how to get the internship and how to do the internship, and share your experiences as well as how you feel the practical experience of the job. So there are some sort of discussion. I hope God Hafiz Zafar Saab, you also guide them, the people are so many, those students, young students who doesn't have the job experiences. So you will be the role model for the young comers and share your experiences. How do you feel regarding the internship, and how you will deal the situation? How the situation is quite different between the lesson learned on the book and doing on the practical job. There has been quite differences to become the practical librarian as well as doing job in a same field which you are studying. So for all these notes, I have just moved for the next slide. I think so here we have ended for the record management. And record management, I have sum up that. We will talk about what is record management, and we will talk about the format of record management, like the printed record manual record management, as well as the digital record management. We will discuss in the detail like how the digital printed record management is being conducted through the different types of procedure, like making the archival groups, subgroups, and the classification of the records, and then the archival series, as well as doing that the filing categories and disposal of the file in the different slots, and as well as we learn about the digital record management, like the database storage of the database, data security, data privacy, and data backup, and the data cleanup. So in the second part, we will talk about the find ads, or as well as the finding ads. So we will move for the next slide. Anyone who has idea about the finding ads? What is the finding ads? Beside my definition, the finding ads, I have just read the definition which I have collected from a website. So a description of an archival collection, usually containing the history of the creator as well as the entry of the inventory of the content. So Bilal Anjum is saying that that's a good. I will appreciate if someone who is working from the internship from the GC College, GC University Lahore. It's a good institution. I will appreciate you if you'll do that. The best practices institution from any part where you are accessible, easily accessible. Like if you are in KPK, I will suggest you to try to approach the Rahman Medical Center, which is being one of the good institution. So if you are in Karachi, so I will suggest you do the internship from the IBA or IBA Institute of Business Administration or Habib University. Or if you are from the Lahore, GC College is one of the good institutions. LAMS, I will also refer to the LAMS. You may understand that. And then we will talk about in KPK Rahman Medical Center. UET at the Palestine, I personally, I did not visit that institution, but someone else tell me UET, the engineering college, university at Quetta, at Balochistan, if you are accessible. If someone who is a Gilgit, they will try to approach the Qaid-e-Azam University at Islamabad because this is feasible for them, as well as from the Kashmir participant. I will suggest them to please approach the Qaid-e-Azam University, or in the suburb there are Islamia. There are so many good institutions at Islamabad, so please try them. If those who are belongs to the from Islamabad and KPK. So finding adds Hafiz Zafar Saab, the finding add a description of the archival collection usually contain the historical record of the creators, and then when we have that we have the collection of records or collection of archive. In a accession register, we will find the material, where material is being accessed. Similarly, in a finding, it's our help to the history of the creators when the material is being acquired, as well as the inventory of the content, and then what is the serial number of that material, and a brief description about that material. What is the characteristics, how that material is being occupied, how that material is being used, and what a related brief introduction and near about. I mentioned earlier 300 to 400 words are being mentioned. That Bushraf is saying the history of the creators means then when the material is come in the library or archival center, then creator is write the history information about that we collect, we keep that material like you have in your library. But today you have got our records of like a register of first president of Pakistan, first Governor General of Pakistan, any antiquities. So you have write a description. So you have a right description about that. AIU collect that history on that, because in Karachi University we have some personal belongings of the Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. I was visited in near about the 2012 and 2013, I think so. So I have seen some personal belongings. So I was asking them how you collect that material. So at that person, we are doing at that person who is inform us that we have collect that material from the Wazir Mansion, where is the birthplace of the Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah near Karachi, and Karachi at Kharadar. So they are all the keep material, personal belonging like her sofa sets and reading tables and her suits as well, and her cupboards. But due to the negligence of their staff, these material are being damaging. So they are refer this material to the University of Karachi, so researcher can use and utilize that material in the best way. So these are being the inventory. So first these material are being keep on that where at the Wazir Mansion, the birthplace of Qaid-e-Azam. Now they are keep at the University of Karachi. So they are managing that their history, that the history is writing that these material are keep, and they will taking in the, I think so, in 1961 or 60 something. I don't remember the exact date, but date lies in the 60s. So 13 years so far that is being keep on the Wazir Mansion at the birthplace of Qaid-e-Azam. Now after that they will keep at the Karachi University. So you have to understand the creator of the history. This is the meaning of that. And the created in a various electronic and printed point. There is that created in a various electronic and printed format, including the word process, processor, document, spreadsheet, database, paper list, indexing, and cards and etc. So finding aids can be made on the manually, as well as it can be made on the online, also digital format like in a Microsoft Word process or Excel sheet or databases and whatsoever. So you can mention. I don't know about that. Wazir mention is changed to the library, but Wazir mention is one of the place which is historical place, which is counted as a historical place of the Karachi. I don't know that there is any sort of the library, but there is a memory we have that we have the personal belonging, such type of a museum, you may say, that is being exist at the Wazir mention. Because I did not see any books, because if there are books, so that will be definitely called the library. So I'm not aware about that. If you have information, so I have to verify that source from someone else. The Wazir mention is being converted into the library. Manawar Saab. Okay, those are saying. Manawar Ali Saab is also saying that Wazir mention is now changing to the library. I don't have such information. So if those people are being saying, so I have to verify that information someone else sources. So I will have to check personally. If you are saying that it is changing to the library, then can anyone else tell about the collection of how much collection in that library and what is the nature of that library? It is a public library or it is a sort of a municipal library? If you have any knowledge, if you want to share with me, Bushra Rafi and Manawar Ali, I will appreciate if you contribute something in this regard, because it's a value-added knowledge you are being provided to me and given to me. Thank you. You are both are the good librarian. So I learned new thing. So I move for the next slide. If you have no problem, if you feel with the comfort with the finding aids definition. Museum library. It's in a sort of a museum library. We have a small collection. And National Library I have visited because I study my MLIS thesis topic is the National Library of Pakistan National Museum. So in all the museum there is sort of a library. So Wazir mentioned is being treated as a historical place and the museum. So maybe there is a short collection of a museum library. And a National Museum of Library, there is also a library, a small library. So if anyone who feels sleeping, someone who feels sleepy because National Museum of Pakistan, National Museum Library, Azam is saying that please write the whole question. So I will try to answer. All are evoking right now how you feel sleepy. So if you feel sleepy, so I will request you, please be evoke, and we are just very short time. We have just 18 minutes and so far maximum. So we will wrap up the session. So please, if you did not take part of the session actively, so come and join. National Museum Library. So anyhow, how it is being managed for the funding act, we made the public summary. Public summary is someone is asking about that the accession register. So public summary is just like information about the archival holdings. It is just like the accession register. So what is the finding guide for the archival holdings? It is being very important. The public summary, which is called the 10 pages, 20 pages or 30 pages, all the archival information is being keep on that holding. And then the summary guide. Summary guide is describe the specific holding description. If you move in a museum or in an archival place, then if you talk about that regarding the information about the specific object or specific document, so it is called the summary guide. And then the number of holdings and interview papers, a sort of accession register. enter into details and finding the relevant information. Inventory is being a different inventory paper is being called a types of register, where we make the inventory, like what is the name of the material, what is the physical description of the material, and somehow how we keep the material, how we acquire the material, and what is the, if you pay the cost, if you got the gift, and what is the thing. So it is called the whole number of holdings. So like 37 number holdings, what is the description, and 34 number holding, what are the description. And then we have these are being the access point regarding the finding aids. We have the public summary, where all the records information is being mentioned, that what kind of record, archival record kept by the librarian. And then the summary guide provide the information about the specific holding. And then the inventory paper or the inventory register, a sort of accession register that enter the details of the finding and the relevant information. So, and the descriptive summary, and sometimes we have a descriptive summary which is mentioned in the inventory register, and sometimes we are not mentioning the description, because it's depend upon the nature of the register. So for all these notes, I will move to the next slide. Online record management. We are also talk about the online record management. So we are talk about the finding aids in a manual format. But if someone who has museum, online museum, because in the developing countries, anyone who has visited the British Museum Library, I will suggest you please visit the British Museum Library website. You have a virtual tour of their objectives and antiquities. So it will be the great experiences. Just explore the site of the British Museum Library. It is a wonderful collection. So you have a tutorial and whatsoever. So in an online record management, we are doing the finding aids, the item summary, and then listing. And then we have the data entries, and then the searching strategy developed, and then we assign the keywords, and we have the searching features. These are the steps we have made for the online finding aids. We have the process, we made this item summary, and then we are listing that summary, and then we have made the data entry of our specific databases, and then we made the search strategy and assigned the keywords and the subject, and we had the search feature. So these are being the steps. For that, I have just take a quiz poll, and then we will move a virtual tour, and we will just wrap up today's session. So I have just a quiz for that. So you all guys are ready? I am just start the quiz poll right now. If I have just start. The archival records, which is age is 5 to 3 years, known as a permanent record. The archival record whose age is 5 to 10 years is known as a permanent record. You have to respond the answer yes or no. So I received the respondent from the 57 respondent. So please respond. For Mohammad Farooq Khan Saab, I need your responses. Zahid Mehboob Saab, please respond. Omar Khalil Saab, if you are listening me, please respond on the poll. I don't need the answer on the chat box. I don't require the answer on the chat box. I need the responses on the polls. So the records which has the age of the 5 to 3 years, which is known as a permanent record, so those who are not participating, I'm requesting you please participate. I'm just wrap up at the 10:50. I'm just close on the 10:50 the poll. So Question is that the material who are keep in archival records, which is being their life is 5 to 3 years, is known as a permanent record. This is the question. So I am just mentioning the name. I'm just for those people who are Farasat Hussain, Muhammad Farooq Khan, Muhammad Sarfaraz, Tariq Khan, Navishta Rahman, Nuzhat Maqsood, Sabah Hamid, and Bushra Rafi. Those are giving me the right answer. I'm just closing the poll. The answer is no. The right answer is no, because the permanent record is lifetime. There is no mention of the lifetime, or there is no life here. So those who are take participates, a big applause. Those who are the winner, those who give me the right answer, there is also a big applause. But those who did not participate, from 19 and 9, there are the 28 students, but I am seeing that the 56 are present. But all those who did not respond me, I did not feel good for them, because you have to respond them. Being as a student, you have to make the active participation on the activities, so you may learn that. So you may learn that. So I will just provide you a virtual tour, and we have a question and answer session. So if you have question and answers, so you may ask on the chat box. I will just show you the Bruce County Museum Lab Archival Center. So you may visit them. So you will find that how the digital record are managing in a developed country like Canada. So I wish one of my students will do job at that county museum library and become a good archive. So for all these notes, I move for the. This is the website and the Bruce County Museum and the Culture Center, and I will just share the slide so you all guys can view that slide as well. I hope. Here is the online collection of the Bruce County. I hope you all guys view the slide. Thank you. And then you have seen that there are so many things for the searching tips. And then we are talk about that archives, photos, and catalog. You may catalog using the keywords and advanced search. If you have the no object field name field, then advanced search. Object name include the photograph. If you want to see the photograph, then you can see. Then the print photograph, then print photograph, digital image, postcard picture, negative, as well as you have to find the negative, and as well the transparency document. So these are the collection. They are designed for their own library, but you may search the term here. This is a museum librarian record I have seen. Here is a search term is being divided, like the subject, including the subject, and applicable to archive and library and photos. So you may search with the people as well as the creator who will create the library, and the search term as well as the subject. If I move for the subject A and just mention and just search any term, so what will be happen there? So these are being the terms if you have related to the A. I have just clicked the antiquities. What will be happen there? So you may see that different objects are being displayed, and if you click in object, then there is an archival record. They are assigning the numbers and the volumes and issue. And 10 records we have find. Viewing the antiquities, I have just clicked. Here is a manage, as I mentioned that the description. Here is the item ID. You will see that, and the title and the object name, newsletter, and date of creation and 2008. Though the record is being from the built in the 1950, but the record is being acquired or the creation date is 2008, and then the item, it's a 4-page description. And if you click, if you may need that, you can view, and there is the people who work for that, and these are the item and the creator name. You may see that how the finding records or archival records is being managed. I hope you will understand. There is no proper, there's only ID, class ID, or here you can also mention the classification number, but there is no such a types of cataloging. So you have to understand this also archive. You may also see that the what are the keeps and their archives. So we will visit that after the session, because 7,204 items, archival items. We may search it if we have there any item regarding the Pakistan. So I'll try myself. What will be the happen there? So they did not find any item related to the Pakistan. So they will find any item related to the India. If I check it. So they have find Dr. Megert, and there are some information regarding the India. So we have just clicked that record. So you will see that how the archive is looking like. The item ID, and there is a description, which is known as the finding ad. So these are being you may see that the record, and you can also visit their virtual record as well as if you have British Library, then you can also see that the physical objects and the records, and you get the information as well as. So all the playing item, you may check it yourself. There is a thumbnail. If you have clicked, then the picture will be open. I don't know in such sort the picture is being showing or not. So the thumbnail is not working. I clicked that record. I think so. This record may be the thumbnail. So you can see that the historical yearbook, which is acquired in 2004. So many people are working on that. You may see their name and the places which is being covered by that. So for all these notes, I'm just moving. If you have any questions, so you can ask. These are the references where you have further explore regarding the public record management or the paper of the archivals, as well as archives the context as a context. And if you have any questions today's presentation, so you may ask. I am ready to and happy to answer. I hope you will enjoy or did not feel sleepy the entire session. If you have any questions, so you can ask. If you don't have questions, so I will move for the wrap up and in a question and answer session. Thank you very much. So if you don't need any question regarding, so I have just, you can connect with me via my email address or my Twitter handler, as well as the my YouTube channel, and as well as you can read my research paper on ResearchGate. So for all these guides, thank you very much for all those who are taking participants in the quiz and active participant in the reading and mentioning on the chat box and time to time helping me. I am thankful you all guys. If I forget the name of any person who messaging me on the chat box, if I forget their name or if I skip their name, so I beg pardon for all those guys for sir mentioned or notices. So for thank you from all the side, from you all guys for bearing me since last 90 minutes. So I will back soon with another, tomorrow I will back soon with another topic which is related to your course. So for all these notes, happy and blissful Ramzan to you all guys. And some questions, sir, tell me the archival and finding aids. Finding aids is a source to how to access the archival material. Okay, finding is finding aids are the source for to access the archival material. And thank you for all guys, and take care you all side, and keep safe and stay blessed. Assalamu alaikum and Allah Hafiz.